Welcome to the Microfile, where we travel the world and document weird microscopic creatures. I'm Ayuna, a microbiologist, and my partner's Ayuni, a chemist. Both of us microbial lunatics.
In this episode, our team traveled to Sarawak to investigate the rabies outbreak that is currently the cause for the rising death toll in the rich cultural land of Sarawak.
We have arrived in Sarawak. Awesome. Awesome.
This dog's name is Lady. She's a normal puppy. Lance, Trixie may appear to be as normal as Lady, but Trixie has rabies.
The virus has been hanging around the earth since the 2000 BC, making it the oldest known disease to date. It holds 1,000 years of history, with its earliest appearance can be found, recorded in Mesopotamian and Greek books. First ever record of deaths caused by rabies in dogs and humans was discovered in the Mosaic Esmuna Code of Babylon in 2300 BC, where Babylonians had to pay a fine if their dog spread rabies to another person. The horrific symptoms brought by this virus have inspired fear and myth alike. As stated by researchers, the rabies virus could have possibly been the cause of the birth of a supernatural myth, vampirism. The virus was then eventually scientifically discovered by the one and only Louis Pasteur in the late 19th century. In 1885, he made a major breakthrough in the prevention of rabies when he created the first vaccination for rabies using the weakened strain of the virus. On July 6, 1885, a 9-year-old boy named Joseph Mester, who was mauled by a rabid dog, became the first ever human being in the heavy book of story to receive the rabies vaccine and made a complete recovery. Pasteur's successful immunization procedure was then rapidly adopted throughout the world. Today, in the US, about 16,000 people are given his PEP vaccine every. On our second day in Sarawak, Ayuni and I met with Dr. Kaha to get to know more about this disease of horror.
The rabies virus is an enveloped, single-stranded RNA virus that is mainly used by neuroscientists to map neural circuits in vivo. It belongs to the Lyssavirus genus, which is the virus that causes rabies and is usually spread by an infected animal's bite. Yes, animals like dogs, foxes, bats, raccoons, and even cats. Transmission to humans happens when a person gets bitten by a rabid animal. It will transfer the virus through their saliva. Well, there are the generic symptoms like fever, headache, and they also feel fatigue. But as the illness worsens, victims will develop neurological symptoms like hydrophobia, hallucinations, and agitation. Once you get bitten by a rabid animal, the symptoms usually appear after 3 to 12 weeks, and what's crazy is, sometimes it can even take months or years for the symptoms to appear. So, it's best to go to see the doctors and get your PEP vaccine as soon as possible after you get bitten by an animal, even by your own pet, because you never know. Once the virus is inside you, it will bind to cell receptors and may replicate either within striated muscle cells or it will just directly infect nerve cells. The virus then will travel to the central nervous system through retrograde exoplasmatic transport mechanisms. The central nervous system is where the virus will replicate rapidly and cause pathologic effects on nerve cell physiology. And it will move away from the central nervous system through anterograde exoplasmic flow within peripheral nerves to infect the surrounding non-nervous tissues like the secretory tissues of salivary glands, for example.
In 2017, the rabies outbreak was declared in Sarawak. The virus was believed to have spread from southern Kalimantan, where rabies have been a big issue since 1906. 2 years after the declaration of the outbreak in Sarawak, a 46 years old man died of rabies after being bitten by his pet puppy.
On the day of his death, he got very aggressive and he was scared of the water. He was also scared having air blown to his face, and then later he just died.
Are you sad?
Of course I'm sad. He was my only brother.
The rabies virus leaves a significant impact on our global healthcare. Every year, the virus kills 70k people worldwide, with Asia leading the highest rate of human rabies deaths. In Sarawak alone, 72 people have died from rabies since the outbreak started in 2017. Although the vaccine for rabies has been discovered for over 100 years, limited public health resources and lack of public awareness have been the bane of rabies prevention efforts.
Whichever way you look at it, rabies means death.
Few researchers also discovered that the prevalence and conveyance of rabies are linked with economic development. The economic and social crisis in El Salvador devastates its rabies control program. The crisis led to a lack of basic health service, unavailability of PEP, and the non-reporting of cases, not to mention that the high cost of PEP is beyond what the people can afford. Rabies education is also a need in LMIC region, as there is still an awareness and knowledge gap regarding rabies among the people in LMIC. Study has shown that over 65% of Ghanaians still hold the belief that a mix of concoction, medical herbs, and the eating of an effective dog meat can cure rabies.
In 2012, a teenager named Armani died by suicide that was allegedly driven by fear that he would die of rabies after being bitten by a dog. However, reports found that the boy was actually negative for rabies. This tragedy highlights how rabies can also shatter and impact on your emotions. The fear of not knowing whether you or your loved ones are infected with rabies or not will cause anxiety, panic attacks, and depression. There are also people who get anxiety after receiving prompt prophylactic treatment and get so bad that they turn to drugs in hope that it'll ease their anxiety to the point where they develop a substance use disorder. What is often overlooked is that veterinarians too feel depressed and frustrated when they have to put down an animal that has not received its rabies shot due to negligence on their owner's part.
So, this is how the government is controlling the disease.
Dogs and cats that are more than 4 months old must get their rabies vaccine. People at high risk of getting rabies also must receive their pre-exposure vaccine.
The authorities also make sure that people who get bitten by potentially rabid animals receive their timely treatment, which includes a series of rabies vaccines and even a rabies immunoglobulin if necessary.
The government implement program to control stray animals like human capture, spaying or neutering, and euthanization. They also encourage people to report stray animals, participate in vaccination drive, and practice safe behavior around animals. As of today, despite having a fully functional vaccine, rabies has killed 70k people, and it got me wondering how many would have survived if they have access to and can afford the healthcare given to the wealthy people in the developed nation. If only the rabies vaccine was accessible to the people in impoverished countries, no one would have to die of rabies. No one would have to witness helplessly their loved one dying in a horrific way. Back then, there was nothing the world could to do stop rabies, but we no longer live in that world anymore. These cases can be stopped if we all come together to help improve the healthcare and make rabies vaccination accessible for the people in LMIC. The world can choose to do that, but instead we choose not to.